I think I need some comments to get charged up. Okay, so I think let's get started. So by the way, this is my portfolio website. You can visit and let me know if you need any kind of help in React or any kind of new technologies you are learning. Just ping us on these links. We are happy to help you. Okay, let's come to the agenda of today. Let me open my GitHub. So I usually use GitHub as a note taking tool, use GitHub as code uh, code deployment tool. I mean, for everything I use GitHub. So I have written the agenda of today's talk over here. Let me know when you can see. Okay. So today we'll talk about what is state management, and we'll talk about what is Redux, and we'll also talk about why we should use Redux. And there is a very good blog by the author of Redux who actually written this library. Like, you might not need Redux. And finally, we'll jump to a code and create a small application with the help of Redux. So, by the way, if you are pretty new to React and you want to learn React from scratch, so this session expect that you already know React a little bit, not at the expertise level, but you know what are components, what are state, what are props, and what is JSX, like some basic fundamentals of React. So if you are unaware of these things, you can open our existing uh, YouTube video in which Sarab like explained everything about React, like how you can get started and how you can like create a small app in React from scratch. Let me paste the link of that as well here so that you can relate this session with that session. Sarab, are you online? If you can just share the link if you have. Okay. So, yeah. So this is the yes, internet is slow a little bit because we had it. So this is the link of the video. This is our previous session. Okay, I think Sarab already shared the link. Okay, thank you so much. So I think let's get started. So first of all, I'll talk about what is state management and why we need in our React application. So if you are building a basic React application, you have a lot of features already. You have async await, you have promises, observables, generator functions. I mean, there are n number of libraries available in JavaScript that does Ajax calls for you. We have fetch, Axios, but still we need state management. Can someone tell me why we need state management? Yeah, that was a great session. Yeah, Thank you, Rajan. So state management is a technique by which you manage your application's state in a best possible manner. For example, you are creating a website which is basically giving you the stock information, or it is giving you the sensex information, in which state is fluctuating very very frequent. Like every 1 minute of, after refreshing every 1 minute, you get a new sensex result, you get new shares result. So in these kind of application, state plays a very important role. Like if you get wrong information at wrong time, you come to a situation where there's a huge loss to your customer. So state management is a technique in which you manage your state of application in a better way, and it's very vital. That's why we are very concerned about state management. Yeah, behavior of app based on events. Yeah, it's a great, it's a definition. To handle complexity, we use state management. Correct, Rajan, you are right. So in terms of React, if I talk about, the very popular library for state management is Redux. Although there are many other libraries available named Mobex. Now in the newer version of React, we have Context API, and we also have two three more library like Flux. But Redux is so important, I would say, so popular among all the other, I would say, vendors. So according to Wikipedia, I have just gone through an article about Redux. They say it's an open source JavaScript library for managing application state. It's commonly used with libraries such as React or Angular for building user interfaces. Similar, and it's inspired by Flux architecture. So Redux is a basically JavaScript library that manage your application state. It's most popularly used with React, but it is not binded to React. You can use Redux with whatever framework you like. You can go with Angular, you can go with Ember.js, Backbone.js, or even you can use Redux with your core JavaScript as well. So the official website of Redux is this, React Redux. By the way, I have one small slide as well. Okay, so this is the official website of React Redux. You should not go here and there. There is an official documentation. It's a quick start. It's API, and there is community as well. If you want to, if you are stuck somewhere, just read their documentation, read their quick start, and go to the community. They have all the things you need in Redux. Okay. So this is some basic information about what is state management and what is Redux. So before going through the further, I would like to show what is the final application that we are building in the current session. Okay, let me open it. So we are creating a small application. This is a search book by ISBN. So this application, what it does, it basically you enter any book's ISBN number, and it basically search for you and give the result of that ISBN number. Like when you type it, you can see I have binded the data. So I have noted down this as a famous book's ISBN number. When you search it, you get the result like this. I haven't binded fancy HTML or good looking UI. So this application is just to set up your Redux so that you get a clear idea what is the folder structure and how we are implementing Redux in our application. In the next session, we can cover like various practical examples of Redux and how we can create more complex applications. Okay. So let's move on. So what are the benefits of using Redux as compared to other techniques? Anyone would like to say? Yeah, sir, our new state management library recently launched Recall. Yes, I remember. Recall is a library which is created by Facebook. Okay, so what are the key benefits of using Redux? These are just I noted out. Like if everyone uh, would like to share, have used Redux in their application. Hi Dhananjay, thank you so much for joining my session. It's a pleasure to have you here. So why Redux? I mean, what are the benefits? Okay, let me go through. So Redux basically, first of all, provide a, so this is the highest point. I'll cover it later. So Redux make your state predictable. Predictable means irrespective to 1000 lines of Ajax call, you have state as a predictable. Yes, a very good saying, like single source of truth. Yeah, Abhishek, totally agree. Like whenever your application crashes and whenever you see the data is fluctuating or creating side effects, Redux make your state so predictable. Like even you can handle, like there are 10 Ajax calls. If you want to see what the fifth Ajax call did, how much state are updated, so these can be easily predictable by Redux. Redux has first mover advantage in the market. Yes, Sarab, correct. So it handle the problem of prop drilling. What is prop drilling, by the way? Prop drilling is a problem like people from Node.js background, they see a problem of callback hell, wherein they are calling a function inside they are calling a function inside they are calling function, like it goes to 5, 10, 15 layers, and it's very hard to debug to manage your state. So same in the case of React. If you are just using state and props, and if you are creating a complex application like Flipkart, Medium.com, and you have to manage your components till 10th level, 100th, till 10th level or 15th level. So it's very hard to pass all these states to the child component and get all the values as a callback from the child component. For example, there is a parent child relationship between the components, and you pass five values as a props in the child component, and it gives you two values. So, this is only one scenario, but there are hundreds of scenarios, and you encounter a situation there which we call it prop drilling. To avoid that situation, we use Redux. Global state, like we already said, single source of truth. Maintainability, like if I'm creating application in Redux and if I pass this application to you, it's very easy to maintain in terms of larger scale. Debuggable for days, like if 10 years down the line, if I am looking at any Redux application, so it's very easy to debug because I know where are the actions, where are the reducers, where are the saga, where is the Ajax call, and XYZ. And the last but not the least, ease of testing. It's very easy to test Redux because we are easily see like where are the actions, where are the reducers, where are services. Like each thing has been placed on its own place, and it's very easy to predict the folder structure and other things. Okay, so before moving into Redux, I would like to highlight a very good article by Dan who actually created Redux. He suggested and he created an article which says you might not need Redux. Like if I say these days, there are very good alternatives of Redux available in the market, but you have to learn them. Yeah, once you learn them, they are very good in terms of like managing your application and writing less code. So I would highly recommend you to go to this article. You might not need Redux before actually implementing Redux. So in this article, what Dan says, like uh, people start using Redux before actually they realize they have to use it. Like they are creating a very small application like to-do list or a very small application, whereas state is limited to two components only. So we don't need fancy structures, we don't need unnecessary file of Redux. So here Dan says people blame Redux, React, functional programming, immutability, and many other things for their woes, and I understand them. So it's natural to compare Redux to approach that doesn't require boilerplate. Like I already said, if you have a small application wherein with the help of small Ajax call you are able to run your code, then you don't need Redux. I mean, Redux has trade-off. Like you have to first analyze like there are actually reasons where you should use Redux. And if it's a small application and it's a very least complex, having very less number of components, you should not go with Redux. So these are some facts that Dan has written, and in the end, he just created one a small application wherein he is using states in one component only. He doesn't have to mutate the state globally. So he says in these cases or in these small applications, don't use Redux. So once you are comfortable and you know you need these kind of features, like you want to persist state, and you have to just pass object to various components, and you have to maintain the history of your Ajax call. You want to control your application state when it's going more complex. So in these cases you should use Redux. Once you have the feeling like you want to use Redux, only then you jump to Redux. Yeah, there are there are alternatives which I recently used for Redux. One is Mobix. Anyone used Mobix? Okay, let's start creating our application. So these are the steps, by the way, which we'll follow to create this application. There are 12 small steps which you can follow to create this application. So first of all, I would like to show the structure of the app which we are going to build. Can you guys see the code properly, or should I increase the font size? Yes, no, maybe. Heard of it just now, Rajesh. I didn't understand what you heard it. Okay. I think the font is visible to everyone. Please increase the font size. Okay. Now it's better. Okay. So here's the folder structure. So we have src. In this we have app. In this app we have a header, a search bar, and search results. There are three components. So what we will do, we will uh, dispatch our action in search bar and handle that state in search results without passing a single argument. I mean, you can run your application or you can dispatch your action at one component and without passing any kind of local storage, any kind of state, any kind of props, any kind of additional calls. You can manage your state globally. I mean, you change something in search bar, you get the result in search results. So what we have in search bar, I have created this search bar component. So it's a small piece of HTML which has an input box, a button, and dispatch. I'll come to this, like what is dispatch and how we used it. So here we will trigger the action, that is dispatch, and in this search result we will see the data. With the help of JSON stringify we can see the data. So if I show you the running application, so this is the search bar and this is the search results. Any questions till now? Okay. Okay. So this is the folder structure that I use for Redux. One is reducer, another is saga, and another is services. So let's build the code one by one. Then we'll understand it better. First of all, I'm creating an application. Let's follow the step one. Yeah. So I'll first create a small application. Npx I think the terminal is terminal is visible to everyone. Font size. Yeah, let me increase the font size. Okay. So I'm at the project directory. I am running a command. My Redux app. Okay, let me type it. Npx create React app my Redux app. Oh, npm I written. Okay, npx. So it will create a application, a small application which is a boilerplate of React. Meanwhile, this is installing. Anyone would like to ask or share anything till now? Okay. Why MobX? Yes, very good question, Rajan. I recently used MobX. Abhishek also used MobX with me, and the benefit of MobX is like we are able to use observable patterns in state. Like uh, in Angular, what we do, we use observables by which we get the data in streams, and we don't have to trigger action again and again. For example, yeah, let me show you the uh, flow of Redux. Maybe by the way, that is a good way to. Your app is still running. Installing packages. So meanwhile the application is installing. So this is the basic flow of Redux. So what it does in the component is your app component, is your actual React application. By dispatching an action, you trigger a reducer, and reducer updates your state and update in store, and then store changes the data and put it in your component. So whenever a reducer change something, only then the action is triggered to store. So Mobex overcame this problem. Like whenever you change anything in reducer, it's automatically subscribed to store. You don't have to explicitly trigger the action. So they used observable. So that is the biggest advantage. Okay. Okay. So meanwhile, it's running. So next, what we have to do once your application is start, we will include three npm packages. One is React, another is React Redux, and third is React Saga, and the fourth is Redux Logger, which is optional. So let me explain you what these are doing. Redux is the base library that you will get. React Redux is like it's bind React with Redux. Redux Saga, it will help you call the backend APIs with the help of Redux. And Redux Logger, which we use to log our actions so that we can easily debug our application. Okay, I think it's still running. I think it's completed now. I think now it's finished. 50 packages added. Installing template dependencies using npm. Okay, I think it's taking a larger time than expected. So meanwhile, I'll go through all the steps. In the third step, we will set up the Redux folder structure, and in the fourth step, we will set up the store and the provider. Fifth step is the optional, wherein we can include a tool that visualize your Redux store. In the sixth, we'll create component in HTML. Seventh, we'll use dispatcher. Eighth, we'll use reducer. And subsequently, we'll create one action, one reducer, one saga. And finally, we'll see the result. Okay. Let me see if I have created that. Documents. Okay, we are done finally. So now we have application name my Redux app, and when we do npm run start, we get a fresh React application, which is a boilerplate. I mean, the benefit of using this, like you don't need to set up all the things for just to use React. You can simply create an application with this command, and you are good to go with that. Okay. So now I have given the command of npm run start. So it will start the application in development mode, and you can see a small application which is a boilerplate of React. Can we use Redux without Redux Saga? Yes, Sarab, we can use. So there is option of Redux Thunk, which is I would say a small alternative of using it. Yes, we can use that. Okay. So this is the React application basic. So how to create it and what are benefits we already covered in the previous lecture. In this lecture, we'll start from here. So very first thing is we'll include our packages. Yeah. So I am installing npm install Redux. Uh, re, uh, then we have React Redux. And then we have Redux Saga. Then we have Redux Log. So we are installing 4 npm packages. I have given the command, so it will take a minute or so to complete it. Okay. So once all these are set up, what we will do next we will use our folder structure. So by the way, this is the folder structure of Redux we will implement. There are many different patterns people use for Redux, but what I recommend is I create a folder named Redux and create 3 subfolders inside it: Reducer, Saga, and Services. The benefit of using this approach in Redux is, like, 1 year down the line you have now a move to change your complete UI. You don't have to figure out where is my services written and where should I change URL, what to do. You just have to replace, uh, you just have to extract this Redux and its dependencies, and you can change the complete UI. I mean, without any complexity. So it will help you manage your business logic, your UI, in a better way. Okay, I think now we have added these 4 packages: Redux Logger 3.0, React Redux, Redux Saga, and Redux. So these 4 packages are now added into our application. So now what we'll do, we'll let me open that application. I'll quickly pick up the things here. My Redux app, I just opened it. Now I'll open package.json to show you the complete dependencies. So this is the package.json. We are only having these dependencies: React, Redux, Redux Logger, and Saga. These are the only 4 packages that we need in order to build React. So the package.json is very small. You can see only React and Redux are included. Now we have a src folder. So what we'll do, I'll create a folder named Redux here, and I'll create 3 folders here. One is Reducer, another is Saga, and another is Services. So what is a reducer, by the way? Since now you have, okay, what is difference between Redux Saga and Redux thing you just mentioned, and it must be used one of them. So there is no difference, Rishabh. I mean, they both are same, Redux Thunk and Saga. I have used Redux Saga because it used generator function, and it's very, I mean, easy when I started it. But I haven't used Redux Thunk yet. But it provides the same kind of functionality. Okay, so what is Reducer, by the way? If you go to official website of, anyone knows what is pure function? Come on, guys, what is pure function? It's very obvious question in JavaScript. Okay, a pure function is a function which doesn't unnecessarily, or I would say, doesn't mutate your state. So reducer is a pure function which is basically keeping your state in a very pure function type manner. Like you can change your state within one way only. So like you have a previous state, you have a new state, you know only reducer can do it, so that you can track your state better. Reducer receive action and update the state. Yes, correctly said. Yeah. So behind the scenes, Gagan, behind the scenes, it uses a pure function which receives an action and updates its state, so that your state remains a pure component, I would say a pure state which doesn't mutate and doesn't pollute your state environment, so that you are not anytime come to a situation where you see, oh, who changed this. Yeah, it doesn't mutate the state, Abhishek. Yeah, rightly said. So reducer, it's a basically pure function that changes your state without mutating. Because if you unnecessarily mutate your state, mutating is like polluting your state. I mean, I would say you're unnecessarily creating memory. You're unnecessarily your state becomes unpredictable. So here Redux plays a very good role by including reducer in it. Okay, so we will create a reducer which will act as a state of this application. Okay, so for this, what we do, I already set up the reducer. So I'll create a root reducer. Okay, in order to save time, I'm just copy pasting the thing from there. So now I have user reducer.js file. It's always produce same result after same params provided. Yes, right. Function doesn't mutate state outside the scope. Yes, this should be right. Okay. So let me create first this reducer, then I'll explain you what I did. Now I'm creating Saga here. Next.js. I created Saga. Saga.js. We already passed 40 minutes. Services. See, in the Redux, I created two folder. One is reducer, another is saga. So what reducer does, it creates a state which is right now a empty of JavaScript object, and this is a reducer which will change your state based on some actions. Like when a user requests a function, it will change your state to loading. When a user is succeeded, when he completed the AJAX request, he update your state with the response. And when nothing happens, your state become a default state. So this is the main role of reducer in the application. So reducer keeps your state in a pure functional way, wherein you have a default state, and based on the actions it change your state. Okay, so this is the index reducer. Like this is the main reducer where you combine all the reducers. For example, you have user, you have user list, member list, you have roles, you have XYZ, hundreds of APIs. Based on that, you keep creating reducers and combining all reducer into one. So Saga, what it does, it's a middleware. Like whenever you create an action, I mean you dispatch an action. Like whenever you click a button like give me a user information, Redux basically, sorry, the Saga basically fetch the API for you. Here, user fetch requested, it will fetch the user information from here and gives you result. When the result came, it will trigger another action and it will update your store. So let me, yeah, remember this diagram. So we have created reducer. Whenever an action came to reducer, it update your state and basically notify your store. So right now what we did, we created a reducer and it will change your state. Okay. So now I'll create a store, Redux store, and attach to your application. Now we'll go to app.js file, sorry, index.js file. Right now there is no Redux here, only we have the plain React application. So first what we'll do, I'll first include the libraries. See, the very first library is React Redux. It gives me a provider. Provider is a way which we bind our global store to React application. So I'll show you by order. First we created, first we included these three functions from Redux. The very first is create store, another is apply middleware, third is controls. Create store is a function which helps you create a store in Redux. Apply middleware is a function which help you apply middleware. So what is middleware, by the way? You guys are all from JavaScript background. You must have used middleware in a one or so. Like in any application, what is middleware? Come on, guys, we use awesome use cases with the help of middleware. In Node.js, when we use JWT, we basically use authentication mechanism with the help of middleware. We basically log your application state with the help of middleware. You control your application's session with the help of middleware. What will happen if I mistakenly set same function name in two different reducers? Yeah. So in this case, what will happen? I think it's a very good question, Saurabh. Yeah, like intercept. So Saurabh, to answer your question, what will happen if I mistakenly set same function name into different reducers? I think when we import a reducer, we specify like this action has been came from this reducer. So in this case, even if we have two same name of functions in two different reducers, we can avoid. Okay. Now we these two libraries, I think we now understand. Create store is for, to store. Apply middleware. Compose is, I'll comment later. Provider is a place wherein you can bind your store to your React application. Create Saga middleware is a middleware which is given by Redux Saga. What it does, like whenever you trigger a action, it creates one a separate middleware which takes your ajax call. Take a simple example, like I trigger a action, give me the list of users, and I created a middleware like you have to get the list of users including this API as well. In a more simpler term, like I send someone to go to market and buy eggs for me, and then someone says like you are going to market, please purchase a bread for me also. So this extra piece of work that someone gave it to the person is a middleware. Like I ask middleware, like whenever you trigger an action, do a API call as well. Middleware is a function which interacts with the request and response objects. Yes, Puneet, yeah, rightly said. Saurabh, Saurabh, what do you mean by function with domain name? I think the name of reducer. Saurabh, Saurabh can answer a question of Saurabh better. Okay, so logger is basically a library wherein you log each action of your application. It helps you track your application better. Then we have root reducer where you combine all your reducer. You have root saga where you combine your complete saga into one. Let me open these files. We have team seven. So this is the root reducer. This is the root saga. Okay. So now where we are, we set up the structure. Now we set up the. Now we are setting up the store. Okay. So we imported all the libraries that we want. Now what we'll do, we will attach store to the application of attach store to app component. Whenever you attach something to app component, it automatically attach to the complete app. Correct, Abhishek. Redux itself can't handle side effect. I assume we will use Saga or Thun because we can. I don't understand the question, Abhishek. Okay, no worries. Okay, so now we create a global store here. So guys, I uses the function create store and I passes a parameter named root reducer and I passes a middleware that is Saga middleware along with a logger. So this is your global store. Like I have this global store and with the help of create store. So this is basically a function create store that is given by a Redux library and you pass two parameter. One is root reducer, another is Saga middleware. Okay. Now we have the global store with us. We have saga middleware dot run. Saga middleware is a middleware that run root saga on every request. So this is the place where actually your AJAX call or API call will take place. Like I will divide the things into three parts. One is your core library, second is Redux component, third is Saga, and fourth is your global store. The initial setup of Redux may be a little bit lengthy, but once you set up all the things, you will find it very easy. So this is one of the disadvantage of Redux is we have to write a lot of files to write even a small API. So there's a question, sir. I think I missed. Not just- Okay. So now we have global store. Now I'll attach this global store with the help of provider. Okay. So what provider will do here? Provider is a component which bind your store with the reactor. So here we pass it global store. So see here what we did, we created a global store and added to the app. So in this way we eliminated the state props from the complete app. So my suggestion is once you implemented this store, avoid using state props and passing to child components until and unless, if you are using this, I would discourage it to use it. Okay. So there is an additional thing that we use is the Redux dev tools. So I would highly encourage you to use this tool, Redux dev tools. Okay. Meanwhile, it's installing in the background. So now we have set up our store. Now what we'll do, now I'll add the HTML in the app component. I'll create a folder, name components. So in this, I'll paste three components that we are using in our application. Your header, search bar, and search results. Header, search bar, and search results. So in order to save time, I'll quickly go through these components. Header is something that you can see at the top of the application. Search bar is the HTML where I have written the search bar, big search bar with a submit button. I'll come to these components later. And search results is the place where you actually see the results. I'll quickly add these three components into my app.js. So I'll remove the existing HTML from here quickly like this, and I'll paste my app.js file here. Now I have this in place, and I'll include these three here. Okay, let's see now what we see on the screen now. npm run start. Please share the GitHub code of GitHub link. Sure. Let me. Yeah, I'll share at the end of it. So now we are running this development server. It's loading it. Okay, meanwhile it's loading, I'll quickly show the next process. Cannot resolve Redux reducer index in index.js module not found. Let me see what happened. Okay. Which module not found? Redux reducer index. Redux reducer index. So let me see if I just put it Redux reducer index. Okay, we have um, Saga. Cannot resolve Saga. Index.js root Saga. Cannot resolve Redux Saga's index. Okay. Let me open index.js window. Redux Saga index. Module not found. Cannot resolve sagas. Okay. I haven't written saga. Oh, I have written S here. Okay. Before running Saga, you must mount Saga middleware on the store using apply middleware. Okay. Apply middleware should be okay. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So there was issue in I think the CSS is so bad. Let me add the CSS as well. So here what designers plays a vital role in our life. So let me add the CSS as well. and just simply paste the CSS over here. CSS applied. Okay. Oh, I missed Bootstrap here. Let me add Bootstrap. Index.html. So I basically used Bootstrap in order to showcase this fancy search box and other stuff. So I'm for now including Bootstrap in the index.js file, index.html file, but you can use using React Bootstrap, and there are other libraries available by which you can use Bootstrap. I think now CSS will be fine. Yeah, there we go. So let me rephrase the things. What we did till now is in the index.js file, and let me explain it very slowly. We included Redux library packages, which is Redux, Redux React, Redux Saga, Redux Logger. Redux is basically base library. React Redux is the combined between these two, React Redux. And then we have Redux Saga to call the backend APIs. Then we have Redux Logger just to log the output in our console log. That's it. Logger is not necessary. Then we have Redux elements. We have Redux and Saga element. We have Redux, and we have root saga and root reducer. All the reducers will be combined and imported here. All the saga will be combined and imported here. I'm not sure if previous talked about middleware, but I'm excited to know about this. I missed that session. Can you please let me know? Okay, so Poonam, we can have this session later. What is middleware? Or someone from the community can help Poonam understand what is middleware. Okay, so here is so in terms of this session, I can explain what we are doing here. Middleware is Saga middleware is a kind of a function which actually attach a API call to your action. So here, meaning of middleware is whenever you trigger an action, there should be a API call. So let me explain with this code. Redux, we have this function user fetch requested. Then we have Saga, which is a middleware which is calling this API whenever you call this function. I'll explain these. Okay, so we right now attached. So now we have Redux library. We have a React element, sorry, reducer element here. Then we have Saga element here. Then we have middleware. So now we created a global store and we attach reducer and Saga here. And with the help of provider, we binded our complete application to a global store. So this is the main configuration of Redux. Only 4 steps are there. Include libraries, include reducer Saga, create a global store and attach to your application. So this will solve all your state management, all your state props, mutation problem in your application. Okay. Now we have app component wherein we have our global store. Now we'll go to app component here. So in the app component, we have 3 components which are child components. One is header, another is search bar, and third is search results. So let's go to search bar. With the help of React Redux use dispatch, Use dispatch is a function in Redux which help you trigger an action. Like from a component, you are no longer calling your inside function of component, you are directly dispatching an action. So here what we did, we have an input box and we are setting the value ISBN number. Like so this application does, like it basically search your book based on your ISBN number. ISBN number is a unique number to your book, in which you can search your book throughout the world. And I use Google APIs to have it. So we have one input box, we have one search button, and we are binding it here. So this is just a HTML which is copied from a Bootstrap, basically a small Bootstrap HTML component I have taken. So whenever you change your input box, it set your internal state here. p.target.value is a is a function which set your ISBN number. Like I'll show you here. Like if you type anything here, hello world, so it's basically binding your input to your variable. So what I did, I basically created an input box and a button. So whenever you click on the submit button or your, I would say, search button, a on click event is there. What on click event does, I have named a user fetch requested, where user requested a fetch to a ISBN number. So every dispatch function, so dispatch is basically calling an action or dispatching an action with the help of use dispatch function, which is given by React Redux. How are dispatch and use dispatch are different from one another, Deepika? Okay, so use dispatch is a factory function. Means like you can create dispatch in hundred of components each where. So wherever you want to dispatch your action, you create a dispatch function with the help of a factory function named use dispatch. Use dispatch, as the name satisfied, it helps you to use dispatch a function. I mean, like we have generator function wherein you basically pass a parameter and it gives you a function which you can use. So it's the same concept. Like you can create dispatch functionality multiple times. Like here you have uses user fetch requested. You might want to use some other action. So if you want to use it 100 times, you have to create a function from use dispatch. Okay, so now whenever I call this user get data, which is called from button on click, it will just call your action user fetch requested. Payload is passing the parameter here, ISBN number. From where ISBN number came, with the help of a normal variable, with the help of use state, I have passed a default value, and whenever you change the input box, this function will trigger and ISBN number has been updated. If possible, can you explain factory function? Okay, we can park this discussion. Okay, so it will become off the track if I try to explain factory function here. So, sir, can you note down uh, the terms which we discussed here? We can note it down and cover these later. So, just to answer your question, factory function is a function which helps you generate another function. Okay, now we dispatch one action here as being number. So from where this user fetch requested came, there are two ways. Like we can simply map this with reducer. So whenever a function will be called, user fetch requested will call here, and a corresponding saga will be called here, user fetch requested. And with the help of this fetch user function, we get the variable here. And this will call get record functions, and your variable will come here. And by using this API call, we are fetching the results. I would like you to pay attention here. I have dispatched an action with the help of reducer. We trigger that function, and with the help of Saga middleware, I have called a function fetch user. Fetch user has a payload which is a ISBN number. ISBN number has been passed to get records as a parameter, and with the help of fetch request, we are calling this API, and this results will came. And whenever we are succeeded with this AJAX call, we call another we dispatch one another function, user fetch succeeded. So what it does, like you have requested a action, and it basically triggers a function, and whenever the search result succeeded, a response will be sent to this action. So where this action has been defined, it is defined in reducer. So this will come here, and response will come here, and it will change the state. Earlier state was default. The next state is the result which is coming from this API. It's very important to understand these two. I'll try to explain visually with the help of just a minute. Yeah. So understand it visually here. I created a action with the help of reducer. I handled that action and changed the state. And here we have added middleware saga, which is not mentioned in this diagram. So now we update the state, and we now get the new values in the store. What is yield and yield put? Okay, I'll explain. So this is a basically generator function. Again, you guys will say a new terminology has come. It says a generator function which basically called using this fetch user, and yield is the replacement of async await. Like whenever you call this function, this will run till yield only, and it will fetch the API and stop over here. And when again yield put, when again this put will call, this will trigger an action, user fetch succeeded. So what it is doing, like whenever you are fetching a user record or a record, put function is basically telling the redux like a new action has been dispatched, which is user fetch succeeded, and a new response has been given. Yeah, call and put are these are the helper function of the saga. right? So whenever we get the succeeded request, we get this response here. So let's see action here. I'll open the console here. Guys, it's okay if you are not able to understand it completely. We are open here to discuss any problem if you are just new to Redux. So I'll give the GitHub link of this code. You can explore the code and try to implement Redux in your next project. We are here to help you guys. See, now this is the uh, input, which is ISBN number. I click on search button. You can see there are two action triggered. One is user fetch requested, another is user fetch succeeded. What user fetch requested is, it put your state into loading is equal to true. You can show loader here. So whenever you get a successful response from the API, you basically put this response into your state. This response, like the name of the book is Harry Potter, the complete series, the link, this search info, this sale info, all this. So here we have added, we created two actions. One is user fetch requested, another is user fetch succeeded, and we have shown all the information here. So you can use HTML like URLi whatsoever you can use, but just for the sake you can see the you have requested uh, value from search and you get response in another component without passing any value and without passing anything else. So this is the power of Redux, like in terms of we yeah. So I have shown you like how we triggered. So how we displayed the result. Let me show you that. Search bar results here. So with the help of use dispatcher, we can dispatch the action. Similarly, we have another helper function or factory function, which is use selector. Use selector is a function by which you can get your global state in your complete application. You don't need to pass the props and receive the values. You just use selector and you can use the global state of user reducer. So here when we search this application, at the very first it shows the default state. It is defined in this reducer here. So this is the default state. So when you get the response from the API and you get succeeded, you get a new response. So this default state will be replaced with your new values. So here the role of reducer comes to the picture. See, it's a pure function. Based on the value you give it, it change your state without mutating or without unnecessarily changing your state. Earlier it was default state. Now we get this response from the API call. You get this new state like this. I click. You can see loading is equal to true. It come in the between, and now we have this result. So you can see, since you can see like a search result is a component in which you just used your state. So you will only use selector. That's it. You can use this function anywhere in your complete application, like whenever a new result will come. So this global state will be re-rendered automatically. We can add comments in this video also. Later we can pick up the topics in the next video. Yeah, perfectly fine. Guys, please comment on this video like whatsoever things use like we already passed 1.5 hours. You think if something we missed or you still not clear with the things, we can discuss all these things. later on. Yeah, now let me share the link of the GitHub repo. Okay, YouTube.com. What if we get error in API call? Yes, that's a good question. Let me tell you that as well. So there are two ways, Puneet, to handle this. One is which I prefer because I came from an Angular background. I use HTTP interceptor. But in this case, what you can do is you go to Saga here, like here you have to handle it. There is a try catch. Here user fetch requested, like whenever you get any value, so if you get JSON response which is fine, you trigger this action. Like if you get another value, like you get 400 results, so here you can put switch case, if else case, and based on the values you get, succeeded with warning, etc., you can create as many actions you want. So based on that you handle the reducer. Let me tell you here. See, user fetch succeeded, user fetch failed with warning, etc. All these functions available with Thunk as well. I haven't used Thunk, Deepika, but yes, Thunk provide the same kind of functionality. You can find these over there. By the way, I have written a blog as well. Let me share it that with you, wherein I have explained each and everything. So here's the blog, which is written how to add Redux into your application, which is same. So so this talk is like which will help you understand what is Redux and how you can implement in your application. Yeah, we didn't expect that you become expert in this stuff, but now you get an idea like how we can add Redux into your application, how we can add Redux into application and use it. There are n number of best practices available, like someone said, how we can handle the API error calls, how we can show the custom messages, how we can show later loaders, etc., etc. So we can keep on expanding. Yeah, so that's all from today's session. We have covered all the steps that. So these are the all steps that I taken. Let me share these as well. I would highly encourage you guys to go and practice this and create a small application with using these steps. These are- okay, these are larger in number. Okay, I'll add these steps later. I'm not able to send the comments. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining with me. So let me tell you our next event. Next event is getting started with Flutter, which will be given by Abhishek. And we also have uh, another topic which is on 6th of June, that is Swift app development, which is given by Yatin. So still we are here. We already streamed 105 minutes. So we are here. If someone wants to ask any question or someone has any curiosity about what is DevTalks, what we are doing, and why we gather here, we are here to help you. Jagdeep, thank you, Deepika. So your comments. So guys, please subscribe to this YouTube channel so that it give us encouragement to give you talks like these. So we this is our seventh event. We recorded only this and the previous events, and from these two events we came to YouTube, and if we get good responses, so we'll keep on doing these kind of activities. Rajesh Thakur, thanks. Again, I'll give a minute or two to anyone who would like to ask, add anything. So we have noted down all the questions. So we'll summarize all these questions, and with the help of small video or small talk, we'll try to answer your questions, because it's very limited time and we can only cover one direction. So although these questions are pretty good and I respect these questions, so we'll answer. So yeah, someone says what is helper function. Someone says why we use dispatch and how it is different from dispatch. Someone said how to handle the API error in Redux. Yes. Okay. So can you schedule one session about component management? What kind of approach is good for making component? Is there use of map access? I didn't understand what when you say map access. When will you coming up with session on React Native? Yeah, Deepika, we can schedule it. Right now, our two next events are already planned, Flutter and Swift app development. After that, we can plan it on React Native. Poonam, I didn't get your question last. From next week onwards, we are going to mobile app sessions. Thanks for the session. Is what is the use of map? Is there any use of map is necessary? Yeah, map is used to render your list in your component. Yes, it is necessary, but we can figure out other ways as well. But as per the ES6 syntax, map is very handy to use. Like you can use ULLI, and with the help of map you can produce a list of items. Thank you, Puneet, for giving this good compliment.